Have you ever walked past someone sitting on the street and thought nothing of them? Did you ever stop to wonder what if this person had a story that could change the world? Today's story is one of pain, rejection, and loneliness, but also one of hope, kindness, and an ending you will not see coming. Before we begin, I want to ask you something. Would you stop to help a stranger on the street, or would you walk past? And if you were the one sitting there, what would you hope for? Don't forget to subscribe to Skin Deep Stories, where we share emotional stories that open hearts and challenge the way we see each other. Now, let's begin. His name was Marcus. Once, he had a home, a family, and a good job. But life has a way of breaking even the strongest souls. A series of layoffs, an eviction, and then the unthinkable, the death of his mother left Marcus with no anchor, no place to go, and no one to turn to. Day by day, he carried his backpack and a cardboard sign that simply read, "Hungry. Anything helps. God bless." People walked by. Some turned their heads. Some laughed under their breath. A few dropped coins into his cup, but never once looked him in the eyes. Marcus wasn't just poor. He was invisible. And it hurt most when children tugged at their parents' sleeves asking, "Why is he so dirty?" And the parents whispered, "Don't look, just keep walking." The silence was louder than the city itself. One cold afternoon, a group of young men walked past. They didn't offer food or coins. They offered insults. "Get a job, man." One shouted, another sneered. "Bet he's on drugs." Laughter echoed as Marcus sat quietly, eyes lowered. What they didn't know was that Marcus once wore a suit, led meetings, and mentored young people in his community. He wasn't a beggar by choice. Life had simply stripped him of everything. But no one cared to ask. Until her. She was a woman in her late 30s, carrying groceries. Her name was Clara. Unlike everyone else, she stopped. She knelt down beside Marcus and said softly, "Hi, my name's Clara. What's yours?" Marcus froze. It had been months since anyone asked his name. His voice cracked. "Marcus." She smiled. "Marcus, are you hungry?" He nodded silently, without hesitation. Clara handed him a sandwich and a bottle of water from her bag. But more than that, she sat next to him on the cold pavement, ignoring the stares of people passing by. They talked. For the first time in months, Marcus wasn't invisible. He was human again. Clara didn't just stop once. She came back the next day. And the day after that. She brought meals, blankets, and most importantly, conversation. She listened to Marcus' story without judgment. And then, one day, she asked him, "Marcus, what did you used to do before all this?" Marcus hesitated, then said quietly, "I was a teacher, high school English. I loved working with kids, but life got hard after I lost my job and everything else just fell apart." Clara's eyes widened. A teacher? This man, mocked as worthless, once built futures for children. That night, Clara made a decision that would change both their lives. The following week, Clara introduced Marcus to the director of a local community center. They needed volunteers for their youth literacy program. At first, Marcus was nervous. Who would take a homeless man seriously? But Clara looked at him firmly and said, "You're not defined by your clothes, Marcus. You're defined by your gift." And so, Marcus began teaching again. Not in a school, but in a shelter filled with children who needed hope. His voice returned. His purpose returned. And here's the twist. Months later, Clara revealed something that left Marcus speechless. She wasn't just a stranger with groceries. She was the chairperson of an education foundation. Clara didn't just see a man on the street. She saw a teacher, a mentor, and a leader. And with her help, Marcus was not only rehoused, he was hired as a program director, mentoring hundreds of children from underprivileged backgrounds. Marcus, from homeless, black, and invisible, Marcus became a man who changed lives again. And all it took was one stranger who saw his worth. So let me ask you, would you be Clara if you saw Marcus today? Or would you be the ones who laughed and walked away? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe to Skin Deep Stories for more emotional, powerful stories like this one. Because sometimes, the smallest act of kindness can rewrite someone's entire life.